Love in Every World was a nice movie, but there's a lot of bad advice in there that no one seems to be talking about. And we need to point this out so you know that you cannot actually apply this in real life or you end up in some serious trouble. Now, a lot of people will disagree with me on some of these points, and that's fine. Please, if you have a logical reason why you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section below. That said, let's dive in. Number one, the girl in this video Number one, the girl in this movie, Achalugo, met this billionaire for the very first time during an introduction ceremony at night, and she ended up in a hotel room with him that same night. Now, a lot of people are going to say, but nothing happened. Remember, it's a movie. That movie aside, this is a very, very dangerous thing to do. What if he had overpowered her? What if he had some other intentions? Even considering the fact that she was supposed to be introduced to him, she did not know him well enough to be in that kind of space at that time for the very first time. At that time, that was definitely too dangerous because he might have even not had any negative intentions, but he might, because even if he did not have any negative intentions, what if he had some psychotic issues or a psychotic breakdown or he had anger issues? A conversation that might have started out very lightly could have developed into an argument, and then who knows what could have gone wrong from that point. So please, I cannot emphasize this enough. You meet a guy for the very first time, it is so risky, and we hear a lot of stories every day about people who do risky things like this. I do not advise it. Number two, Number two, this billionaire took a flight to her state and bought the compound where she worked after just one conversation. Now, a lot of people have described this as a romantic gesture. But guys, let's take a pause and think about this. You meet a girl for the first time, have one conversation, and the next thing you travel all the way to her state and buy the compound where she works because you want to collect her number. This can easily come across as creepy. If you don't see it, I don't know how to explain it to you. In any other context, this can easily be creepy. So please think about the context very well before you try to do this kind of thing. And also for the ladies on the receiving end who like this kind of attention, you need to consider, is that really a healthy approach to doing what the man wanted to do? I mean, he wanted to get her number. However, this kind of excessive show of his resources sounds seems more or less. However, this kind of use of his resources so excessively after just a minor emotional trigger comes across as someone who is impulsive, someone who cannot control how his emotions push him to do things. So keep in mind, the same way this kind of guy will be happy to use his resources to impress you when you make him just a little bit emotionally attached, it's the same way he will use those resources against you if you offend him in the slightest bit. There are a lot of people in relationships today who are in hell because the person they are with has all the resources to show them as much trouble as possible. Because the person they are with has all the resources and is very easily triggered to use these resources to put them through trauma. So this is something that you need to think about as a lady before accepting such a gesture as romantic. Three, she reject three, Achalugo in this movie rejected this high quality guy for a flimsy reason. Now, even with the flaw of the accent, which is something that can easily be fixed by the way, this man was a high quality man, patient, understanding, emotionally available, supportive of his woman's ambitions, someone who could also cook despite the fact that he was wealthy. That was definitely a high quality man. And I call her reasons flimsy, not because they are not important. I understood the daddy issues and also how the accent played into that. However, if you watch the movie to the end, you realize that it did not take much for her to get over these issues. That means they were never really that deep in the first place. It's not like she had to see some sort of professional or a specialist to help her through them. It was just one conversation and boom, she was out of it and ready to love the man again. Please, if you are going to dump a high quality man, it has to be because of a major deal breaker that you either need professional help to get over, or you just cannot negotiate it. That would make a lot of sense. But if it's something that you can have one conversation and get over it, please do so without dumping this high quality guy. Because by the time you have your conversation and think you can come back to meet him, he just might not be around anymore and you've lost that chance forever. So please think about it well before you dump a high quality guy. Number four, the billionaire in this movie kept giving this girl another chance over and over, despite the fact that she was hiding her reason for not being. Number four, the billionaire in this movie kept giving this girl more chances, despite the fact that she was hiding the real reason she rejected him. I cannot emphasize this enough, guys. If you see a girl who is hiding her reasons for turning you down, please leave her alone. It's either she has not gotten over some major issues in her life, or she just does not want to open up to you. If you keep giving this kind of person a second chance, their confusion is going to play out in the decisions that they're going to make. In other words, she could decide to accept you just because, she hasn't gotten over the issue, but you are around and available. So she will take you for the main time. She can wake up anytime and figure things out in her head and decide, or still be confused and decide to just walk away from you. It's a huge risk. Another thing is, this kind of person, like in the movie, they could get married and then it's later on that these psychological issues that she did not address at first will become problems in your relationship. So please, once a girl is not forthcoming about the real reason she has rejected you, just leave her in peace. So please, if a girl is not forthcoming about the real reason she has turned you down, please don't go back. Don't give her a second chance unless you are absolutely sure that she has figured them out. Because in this movie, that girl seemed like she was confused. And no, I'm not convinced that she got over those issues. Lastly, from day one, this billionaire met the girl and immediately told her that he would marry her. Now, there's this myth going around about how when a man is really serious and is ready to settle down, once he sees you, he knows he wants to marry you, and in a few months, you get married. Please, it is unfounded. It is a big lie. There is no evidence to this. In fact, a lot of people are currently in hell because they jumped into marriage like this, believing such myths. Because tell me, how does he know he wants to marry you? He doesn't know if you have some habits that are deal breakers for him. He doesn't know if you have a lifestyle that he cannot withstand. He doesn't know anything about you. Marriage is a lifelong commitment. So how do you see someone and just know intuitively that yes, I'm going to marry this person? In fact, anyone who says that to you as a lady is most likely trying to manipulate you. You should run from that kind of man. It takes intentional effort to truly get to know someone, know that you have shared interests, and know that there is a future with this person before you can decide that you want to get married to someone. It's not something you can just know by walking up to someone and saying. It's not something you can just know by looking at someone in the face. Not even love at first sight works that way. And I must emphasize that the way he told her he was going to marry her was actually the way our forefathers used to marry women. They did not care much for what the women actually wanted, and they were not planning to have any serious emotional bond. It was just a tradition that should take place. And so men did not give it much thought. They would just walk into the home and say, I want to marry this girl. Unless And honestly, looking back, we can see how a lot of those marriages played out even today, looking at the previous generation. So please, if you don't want to go through hell, don't jump into that kind of marriage. All of that said, those are my points. Feel free to share your thoughts. I'll see you guys later. Peace.